Yes.
We're on.
I'm on.
Okay. How's he said it? Well, it's not good. All right, today is the 25th, right? Okay.
Correct.
Good evening, this is the January 25th meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals. First up, you want to do your reading?
Appeal number 2018-003, Lawrence and Alcabalas, 112 Green Street, South Jamesport, Suffolk County Tax Map number 691-418 and 691-421, RB 40 zoning, for variances to and/or relief from the provisions of Chapter 301, Section 17, where a dwelling is proposed with side yard setbacks of 12.5 feet, where the minimum required is 25 feet, and the combined proposed side yard is 25 feet, where the minimum required is 55 feet.
Are there representatives for those folks there? Please step up to the microphone. And do you have your, well, the microphone's right there, but we'll take any of your mailings and... Whatever.
You have to let it poster,
Yes.
the green card, slips.
Thank you.
Okay. If you kindly step up to the microphone, we'll swear you in, and then off we go. That's it. And if you're both going to testify, please, again, step up to the microphone. If you kindly raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Good. Just state your names and your address, and if you have a crazy last name, spell it out, please.
Okay. I'm Beth Dubas, D-U-B-A-S, 790 Piermont Ave, Piermont, New York. You need the zip?
I'm Bert, B-U-R-T, Dorfman, D-O-R-F-M-A-N, and same address. And we're here on behalf of North Fork Development.
You have the floor. Just pull that microphone up a little bit so you can speak into it if you would,
Who
please.
is Lawrence Alcabalas?
I'm here for,
Excuse me, are you the owners of the property?
I am,
No,
North
not
Fork.
the owners of the property? No.
It's North Fork Development.
No, not the owner. What's the, no, we're not.
Oh, the owners that currently own it? No, we're not.
Oh, you're the contract
We're in
vendors?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The owners are Lawrence and Olga Ballas?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Again, you have the floor.
I'm here, North Fork Development, and we're looking to build a 1,600 square foot house on 112 Green Street. And we need variance for the side yards.
Go ahead.
All right. It's a lot that's, there's one lot that's 10,000 square feet, and there's another triangular lot that's 8,700 square feet. It's a total of 18,700. We are not seeking any construction on the triangular piece, I don't know, the tax lot, and we're going to construct a house somewhere within the footprint that I indicated, that was indicated on the Young and Young survey. We're 50 feet from the front, we have 50-foot frontage, we have two 12.5 side yards,
And 50 feet.
and the house is, the footprint is 50 feet long, but we're not going to be a 50-foot long house. But we are proposing a house with a front porch, so that's why we had to have a little more length on the footprint. This is very similar to the other lots on the street. It came from the Carter subdivision. I have a picture of the, I have a copy of the Carter subdivision, got all these tax lots.
Okay. Thank you.
There's one or two combined lots, but not many. Because here's the tax map.
Anybody need to see this?
So the lots are all relatively the same size?
Similar, they're all
All the
single
neighbors.
family. There are a couple double lots. Because when you put these two lots together, it's much larger than most of the lots, but it's an unusual shape because
Yes.
Mr. Ballas bought it at a separate time. This is the house we're proposing.
Something similar along these lines.
Okay.
You have plans for the house, sir?
Yeah,
Not
well,
yet, because we're waiting for approval, then we'll.
Okay.
So you don't know the square footage of the house and the front porch? that you're
1,600
talking
square
about?
feet.
We're thinking
1600.
1,600,
To 1,800, somewhere in
two
that.
levels.
What is this?
That's the
That's
proposed
the house.
house.
Oh, okay. This is the proposed
Yeah,
front elevation?
It's like a,
Speak into the mic, please.
yes.
it's along those lines, very similar to that.
Okay.
Windows might be tweaked, that's it. Color stays the same.
So it's gonna be a two-story house?
Yeah, very simple,
Farmhouse looking.
clean, opened, and white.
So
Have
now
you folks seen a picture of? No. Okay, well then, fine, let's pass this up to, okay. Well, we're trying to keep everybody happy here.
No, we're good.
So this is a weird shaped lot,
Yeah.
and you have this deck issue? Can you tell us about that?
Back to the,
We don't have a deck.
No, we don't have a deck issue.
No.
It's just the reason why we have that 100 feet is because there'll be a deck in the front of that.
No, in the back section,
The
triangle.
Oh,
triangle
the
piece.
unusual
There's a-
section, there's a neighbor's
Oh,
deck? Is
That's
that
a
what that
very
is?
busy section. We
It
have
is
a
very
lot going
busy.
on there.
All right.
We've tried to, I don't know if the gentleman
Very
here-
busy.
We've tried to contact this, Mr. Ballas has tried to contact the owner. I think it's in a trust name. I don't know.
Thank you.
I don't know the person.
We sent out all the announcements, and that was the only, it came back, we resent it, and it still to this day has not come back, so I don't know who the person is, but that's the person
It's all.
who's
all
living
that-
on the
all that-
encroachments.
We'll go to the building department, we'll see what we can do.
well, I'm sure we're gonna be enlightened in the next few minutes, so.
Are you talking about the triangle now?
Yes,
You said you sent notices out to those owners?
Well,
we
no,
sent it out
no,
to
no.
everybody that they gave us
If you
on the
look at
list.
triangle, I think-
You have to go back to the microphone. I know
Yeah.
I know you're traveling around here, but.
Yeah,
I
we
I think it's
sent,
the Smith Trust or something like that who owns the lot in front of that.
Oh, okay.
And they're the ones who are using, it looks like there's a fence extending from that lot, some
Okay.
patio and
a fence, a garden, a walkway.
garden, a retaining wall.
So you sent them a
Okay.
letter?
Sent them?
Yeah, and we sent it a second time because it came back the
And
first
they're
time.
not even
We still
responding to
haven't, you know, as of today when we left.
Okay, well, let's hear from South Jamesport. Why don't you have a seat and we'll,
Oh, okay, thanks.
we'll hear from those folks. Just take your stuff with you. There you go. And if you kindly raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please kindly state your name and your address.
My name is Dan Gallagher. I live
Whoa,
at,
whoa, 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 whoa. What was, you have to say it a little slower, so she has to write it down.
okay. My name is Dan Gallagher. I live at 104 Green Street. My property abuts on a parcel 021, that is part of the subject for tonight. I did not receive notice of this hearing required by your rules and regulations. My neighbors informed me of the hearing and showed me letters. My family sent a letter seeking postponement of tonight's hearing on what was written in the neighbor's letter. We have had no response to this request. Other members of my family wanted to be here tonight and could not make it to this meeting. I'm respectfully ask the hearing be for the postponement until the procedures and practices have been met. Thank you.
Mr. Gallagher, just one
Wait a
question I have.
What's the number of your lot?
Which lot are you in relation to the applicant's
I
lot?
am the last one on the triangle on 104 Green Street.
Number one, then? Or are you right next door?
Lot number 3 on this survey?
Can you
The
come up here,
property
ma'am?
Come on
owned by
up
the
here.
Patrick Smith Trust?
Just mark the lot that he lives on.
Yeah, I would be, well, I'm the last one here. This is the triangle, this is the piece of property that I'm on.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so,
there are three houses on this property,
On whose property?
on my property.
Okay.
It's an old section. You have to go back to the mic. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you know,
Oh, okay.
Good.
All right.
Take that with you if you need it.
so it's lot number
So you're
one
this
he's
one.
talking about,
You're this lot right here.
Yes.
lot number one.
Okay, lot
All right.
number one.
Well, I'm finished. I just wanted to request a
Go right up there,
postpone.
please. Question for you, Mr. Gallagher. Is anything from your property on the triangle?
Is there anything?
Is there anything on your, is there anything that you own on the applicant's property?
On that triangle?
On that triangle, well, it's all part of the applicant's property.
Any?
Do you have a deck or garden or anything that this
Yes,
survey
because
indicates?
I planted, we've been maintaining that triangle since I've lived there.
Have you received a letter from the applicant regarding
Nothing.
these items?
I received nothing at all.
Is this property owned by the Patrick Smith Trust?
Yes.
Okay, well, there's a green card showing that it was mailed to Post Office Box 852 and 104 Green Street in South Jamesport. There's proof of mailing.
Yeah, well, I have, mine is P.O. Box 175.
That's the PO box for the Patrick Smith Trust.
I don't know.
The tax bill for Patrick Smith Trust goes to,
Well, Patrick Smith never received it.
Well, we have a mailing.
there's a mailing.
Well, he
to
must
that.
have received it, he's in Florida, so I don't know.
Okay, well, but they're not obligated to mail it to anybody other than the property owner, and the property owner is the Patrick Smith Trust, and that's the address, and they have proof that they mailed to that address. So you may or may not have gotten it because you're not the owner of the property.
I'm part of them.
Well, the name on the deed is the Patrick Smith Trust. There's no way for them to
We have
know.
we have we incorporated.
I understand that, but how would anyone know that you were a member of that corporation? The deed and the title to the property is held by the Patrick Smith Trust. The tax bill is made to the Patrick Smith Trust, and that's the only address that's official. So there's no way to notify, like if a corporation owned it, they wouldn't have to mail it to every shareholder in the corporation, they only have to mail it to the corporation. So they correctly notified me.
And sir, you were asking for a postponement, can I ask why?
Yeah, because I didn't receive it. Patrick Smith said he didn't receive it. Mary Ellen Smith didn't receive it. Regina Smith didn't receive it, so.
Okay,
Are
so I-
they also owners of the Patrick Smith
Yes.
Trust? So it's the same situation, as long as it's mailed to the address on file on the tax bill and on the deed for the Patrick Smith Trust, then they've met their obligation to legally notify you. They wouldn't know who the shareholders were, there's no way for them
Well,
to know.
my brother-in-law said that he never received it. He's in Florida, so I'm not
Okay, well,
gonna.
it went to the South Jamesport post office address, which is the address that's on the tax bill, which is on file.
Okay.
Anyone else? And if you kindly raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
And
Thank
again,
you.
State your name and your address.
Angela DeVito, South Jamesport, New York,
What's the address? miss?
121 Green Street.
So where are you on this?
I am not someone that was notified of this. I'm just I'm kind of, I say, directly across the street is the Halleck residence, and I am north of the Halleck residence on the tax map.
Okay.
So, my concern was that this property still is in contract for sale at this particular point, and I'm kind of confused over having the owners, the Ballas family, make application for a variance. They applied for a building permit. They were turned down. They got a letter saying that they were not. Actually, there was a letter filed, and Beth Dubas got the letter from the building department saying that they were denied their building permit because they did not meet the requirements of RB 40 zone use district. And I am obviously not a lawyer, I don't claim to be one, but I don't understand how a piece of property that is not owned by someone, you can entertain and have the potential vendors for a new owner seek and represent themselves here at a board hearing when the actual owners are the ones who made the application and are not here. There wasn't a letter giving them permission to appear on their behalf. There was a letter giving them permission to write to the Zoning Board of Appeals. That's it.
I believe they're authorized to apply for the variance pursuant to the application of the building department. The owners signed all the authorization papers for the application, so
So the application can be in anyone else's name as long as you authorize them to do that?
as long as, it's just like, there could be a lawyer here, or there could be a expediting
Represents
company
them
or something like that.
On behalf of them, okay.
As long as it's authorized in the application.
And the other point that I will make is that these two properties, there was an appeal to make them one. As of a letter in the town assessor's office on September 17th, 2017, they were denied the ability to make these two parcels, 18 and 21, into one. And I have seen no reappeal of that or any other action to have this, but we're considering them tonight as if it is a single property. It appears that that's what we're doing, and they are not a single lot at this. They have not been combined, merged, if that's the term, merged into a single lot at this time. They actually were denied that. I don't know the reason why, but there is a denial letter from Laverne Tenenberg on this to merge them into a single property.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it is dated the 17th of
But
September.
that's not what's before us, that's
That's
nothing to
not
do with the
before
other
you, but
property.
it's, well, it's part of the consideration for the entire project that they're putting there, Fred. Okay.
Why, they're not doing anything with the triangle?
Yeah, well, their triangle appears on not their, it's not a building plan at this point, but it's a partial one, and they do have it. It looks as if it's going to be developed as a recreation area, and I don't know if they're asking for side setbacks for 21 or for 18. Which one is it?
They're asking for the side setbacks on 18.
The application doesn't specifically say 18, it says 18 and 21. So where are the side setbacks being asked for?
Let's see.
I believe we're just dealing with the one lot, but it does say 21, yeah.
It does say we're considering both, so we need to be specific as to where we're asking them.
Okay, I can understand that, but again,
I have some other comments I'd like to share with you.
sure, go ahead.
As a member of many committees that helped produce the 2003 Town of Riverhead Comprehensive Plan, and then the codes developed subsequent to the adoption of a new and revised zone use district plan, I have firsthand knowledge about the reasoning and the decision-making behind the creation of the RB 40 zone use district and the uses, allowed uses, and the specific setbacks and the amount of land that's needed to build. Members of the assembled and assorted committees recognized that changes were occurring throughout our town. Summer homes were being converted to year-round residence, and these conversions required more space and accessory use than before. Changes in the many zone use districts were needed to assure that uncontrolled density increases were contained and that at the same time, the rights of developed residences were protected. With respect to South Jamesport, we all recognized and acknowledged that we were rapidly converting from a summer beach community riddled with houses on small parcels of land and with also significant vacant parcels to a more densely populated year-round residential community. Families who had owned property and built summer cottages well in advance of the very first town codes were now amending their properties to make them fit for year-round permanent residence. Committee discussion focused on recognizing and acknowledging established homes and their right to expand and convert from summer to year-round use. At the same time, we accommodated the rights of these landowners. We also recognized a need to limit new construction on undeveloped parcels of land. The final RB 40 zone use district language reflects the intent of the work group. Section 301-13 clearly reflects an intent to limit development to medium density and still allow for existing structures to renovate. Medium density, in this instance, if you look at what's being proposed, actually between the walls of the homes that will be there, in one instance, it's less than 20 feet on one side, and it will be less than 16 feet on the other. The density is far from anyone's definition of what medium could be here. There can be no doubt in anyone's mind, and for that matter, as you review these materials submitted, that this parcel of land fails not only with regard to its setbacks to meet the intent of RB 40, but also with the amount of land that's needed to construct a new residence on it. 40,000 square feet of land is required to construct a new building on a property located in the RB 40 zone. This land has never had any building on it whatsoever. Okay, checking with the files in both the tax assessor's office as well as with the building department, there was 100% absence of any requirements for permits or any requests over the years for buildings or structures on the land. The land that is subject of tonight's hearing is not a single parcel, but two separate parcels. I've already said that. Each parcel is less than an acre, actually less than a quarter of an acre. Parcel 18 is 0.23 acres, and parcel 21 is 0.20. Less than 25% of the RB 40 acre requirement is met by either one of these parcels. Introducing a structure between two homes certainly does not meet the test of medium density, no matter how it's interpreted. What would result is basically a heavy density, kind of like we see in the Bronx, one building next to another. I'm also somewhat disturbed about the actual application. We've already gone over that. But my question would be that only relief is being asked for setbacks. There's nothing to deal with relief from the acre, the 40,000 acre requirement. And my question would be, and that I think is worth asking when you consider this, because perhaps they will come back for more relief, is that were the new owners told that the old residential zone use district would apply in this instance to them? Were they told that the, under the old zone use district, even a quarter acre requirement is not met by that? Why would ask for just side yard setbacks and refer to those embedded in the RB 40 zone use district of the town code? I don't believe that cherry-picking standards is an acceptable way to develop our vacant parcels here in town. There are many examples of rezoning of undeveloped land in our town and the impact that it has had upon the owners. In each instance, the owners have had to accept the changes and adjust their expectations of yield. For example, I would refer you to the 38 parcel of land currently being considered for preservation on the main road, immediately across from the glass greenhouse. It was rezoned in 2005 to RB 80 and CRC, and unlike its former zone use district, it now requires 2 acres to build a residential home on it. That's the test that must be met. Are we also going to be hearing in this instance a plea for hardship? It's evident the hardship is self-created and therefore should not be part of deliberations. Isn't it the responsibility of an interested party to find out just what can be done with the parcel of land under consideration before they put a bid in for purchase? This RB 40 also is not a TDR receiving zone, so density cannot be increased with the purchase of TDRs. It would seem that the best future use of this land would be as a park or a preserve, which is an allowed use under RB 40. My neighbors will add other reasons why we believe this relief should not be allowed, and I would join with them and ask you this evening to deny the petition as filed. Thank you.
Angela,
Make a point.
yes.
Susan, go ahead.
Angela, 1 second.
I just want to draw a distinction between the lot that you identified on the main road versus something like this. So this is a legally existing single and separate parcel. So if our zoning that was adopted in 2004 eliminated the building envelope because the lot was too small, then that's technically considered inverse condemnation, and the town would have to purchase the parcel from them because it would be undevelopable due to zoning, even though it was a legally existing lot prior to the zoning code, which is exactly why they need to come for a variance. And the standards for the zoning board to grant a variance would be a number of different things, but one of those would be that it isn't out of character with the surrounding area. So although the zoning was designed to eliminate the clutter, for example, that would happen when lots would merge. So if there were two lots that were undersized next to each other, owned by the same owner, those lots would merge when the zoning became, and they would lose the opportunity to build two houses. They would only be allowed to do one, just like on the main road, that vacant parcel can't be built as a 1 acre development, it has to be 2. So it's a constitutional obligation of the board and the town to provide them an opportunity to build, otherwise they have to purchase it in the case where there's no building envelope left. So
Well,
just to
I guess
suggest
my
that
question back, I mean, I understand that argument, it's been raised before, Dawn.
It's not an
I would
argument, it's the
come
law.
back, I understand that I would come back with the fact that while we were redoing all of this zoning, why that was never raised, ever, as an
Well-
issue. It was never raised during the adoption of the zone use districts and that, why do we have them? This is not a single, these are 2 parcels of land that are going to be used, they believe, as a single parcel. They have not been merged. They are single there. It is an
Right.
undersized
You would
parcel.
almost prefer, based on your argument, you'd prefer that they be merged, because potentially,
No, I'm not saying that I prefer they be merged.
No, I'm just saying that
for
they-
consideration, if they were merged, it brings the size of the land up, but it doesn't necessarily for putting a house on a single place there. And what we saw, what was proposed, there is the house to the side, the house on both sides of them are not 2 stories high as proposed there. They
So
don't have that
that's
second
an
story.
argument. That's
And
a-
those
that's an
houses
argument.
are
Right.
approximately 1,100 to 900 square feet. Even something like my house, these homes were built by Norm Halleck, most of them in the early 1950s, and they range from anywhere from 900 to 1,100 square feet.
And that's
it.
important information for the zoning board to have when they make that determination. It's just that they can't say, you can't build here because there's no
Oh.
building envelope.
Well, the thing is that you can say that, yes, you can say they can't build, because you can do something else with
We
your
could
land. You
do
can make a
that.
park.
No.
You can
we-
use the
well,
use to
right,
make a
and the
park
town-
out of
Who's
it.
gonna buy it?
The town would have to purchase the land.
Well, then the town should purchase the land, okay, rather than destroy a community. We have had example after example in South Jamesport of people running amok with building. For example, I had on the corner of Willow Street and 4th Street, Alice Beddick, lived in a literally 1-bedroom, a 300 square foot home. Her family built a 2-story, 2,600 square foot home on that same parcel of land with variances from the Zoning Board of Appeals. Okay, when I'm sitting in my back porch, I can watch them in their bathroom on their 2nd floor. That's how close we are. And they don't put up curtains.
Now, I understand, the neighbors don't have 2-story, is what you're saying? I don't recall right now.
Yes,
Um,
that's what I said, Frank.
But it is what the applicant's proposing much different than what's existing
Yes.
in the neighborhood?
Yes,
In
it
what
is.
sense?
In the sense that there's no 2-story homes. And the houses are not, there are no 2-story. There's a 2-story home on the corner of, but that's not adjacent to the lot. That would be like saying if I had a 2-story home across the street, which is kitty corner to them, they could build there. It is not in character with that. And the idea is that this is supposed to be, if we cannot achieve, we are supposed to achieve medium density. We are not a cluster development. We are not high-density areas. There are high-density areas for development in the town, and this destroys that. It absolutely destroys it. So thank you.
All these lots are 50 foot.
Pardon me?
All these lots are 50 foot, and you got real
All
small
these lots,
homes,
all
you
these
got-
lots were developed well before 1975, 1980, through 1985.
But the-
They were all developed during that period there, with the exception, this lot has sat vacant. I've lived there now in that community for 18 years. It has been vacant since I moved there. There has never been anything on that plot
But
of land.
Angela, they still have a right to build on their property. It's just like Holt's Landing.
Well, let me
I
ask
mean,
you,
it's just, listen, we didn't make up these subdivisions. It was unfortunately done piecemeal back in the day. I mean, we have the problems down on Sound Shore Road, we have the problems down in Holt's Landing,
Landing.
and obviously we have the problems down in South Jamesport.
And I
And that's
think-
what the board is here for. We have exact you know, there are houses on both sides on these 50-foot lots.
She's making a point, though, that none of them are two-story homes.
I understand that, but will they be down the road? I mean, people are gonna sell their houses, new people are gonna come in, and they're gonna want something a little bit better. I don't know.
I don't know if squashing houses cheek to cheek in a beach community, what it does to the value of your home, the
You
resale
ever been down to
value.
Breezy Point?
Yeah, I've been there. And you know, the thing, Fred, I've said it before, excuse me, Mr. McLaughlin, I've said it before
Fred works.
in these hearings, if we made a mistake over there, we don't have to repeat it over here. Okay? And I understand they can develop their land. It doesn't say they have the right to build a house. It says they can develop their land. They can develop it for another use.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. And if you kindly raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Good.
Yeah, I'm
Now
Roberta
just state
Kais.
your name and your address.
I'm Roberta Kais. I live at 118 Green Street, which is on the north side of the lot that is proposed for development.
Okay.
I'm writing, I'll give you a letter and a copy of it. I'm writing to express my concern regarding the proposed relief from the provisions of Chapter 301, Section 17, where a dwelling is proposed with a side yard setback of 12.5, where the minimum is 25 foot. My house at 118 Green Street, built in 1959 and rebuilt after a fire in 1998, is on the adjoining lot to the north. My side yard is less than 25 feet to the adjoining side. My lot is the exact size as 112 Green Street, 50 by 200. My house was built following old town code. Having had to rebuild my house in 1998, I am concerned by the encroachment in a neighboring structure. I was not allowed to change my footprint based on the fire concerns. A house fire could easily jump 20 feet. A house built close by would be a safety hazard to both myself and the new building. I'm concerned regarding the size of the proposed building. My home is approximately 1,200 square feet. The neighbor to the south side is 870 square feet. A building any larger than these would be out of character for the size of the lot. If we were following current zoning, where there's a 25-foot setback, the house would be less than a foot wide, 25 on each side. Obviously, I'm not asking for that. That would be ridiculous. I am concerned about the placement of the house on the lot. Why do we have zoning codes and the code is not willing to enforce them? And I will give you this and also a copy of my survey that shows that I am less than 12 feet from the property line on the side.
Just want to hand this out because I'm going to be talking about this.
Sure.
I have one, so I guess I have two copies, right, from the president, is that right? Mainly I'm talking about the middle letter a little bit, okay? And I did want to point out something. You know, you said the Smiths, they said the Smiths didn't get a letter. In the second letter, which they never got, it was sent here to Lynn. They never got that.
And if you kindly raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I swear.
And kindly state your name and your address.
My name is Virginia Lammers. I live at 108 Green Street, South Jamesport, New York. Before actually I begin my thoughts about the variances, I would like to give a zoning board of appeals the three certified letters I received because I am confused due to the names, Lawrence and Olga Ballas, who are asking for the variances on 112 Green Street. And that was listed on our hearing tonight. I received three certified letters, each one signed by a different person. Lambros D. Ballas, May 11, 2017. Spyro Ben, Attorney at Law, August 7, 2017. And Beth Dubois, North Fork Development, LLC. If Lawrence and Olga Ballas are asking for their appeal. Why the other names? We tried to find attorney Spiro Ben, and Spiro had no listing registered as an attorney in neither Suffolk County nor New York State. The address on the letterhead was 140 Main Street, Suite 7 in Huntington. It does not exist. We had someone check it out. The zip code was 11952, which is Mattituck, and the phone number is a 298 Exchange, which is also Mattituck. That was on the letterhead saying Huntington. Please take a look at the second letter and help me solve this mystery. Also, Mr. Ballas's name and phone number was given on the bottom of that letter, which an attorney usually would not do. And where does Beth Dubat and the North Fork Development LLC come into this picture if the hearing lists only the Ballas family? Should I assume that Lawrence Ballas is Lambros Ballas? There's just a lot of confusion about names and what was going on, and I just thought I needed to address this. And if you look at the second letter, the Smith Family Trust, where they never got those letters, but they did, they're listed as being sent to Lindenhurst. Excuse me, I have one more thing to get.
Take your time, there's no hurry.
That's my type
Okay.
Actually, the second letter I got from Spiro Ballas. I had to get this from one of my neighbors, because this is how it came. I did sign for it, but that's how it came. These are mine, I want.
Did the post office say apology?
I guess
Give you an
so,
apology
yeah, that
for
was how it came.
Right, okay.
So dismiss.
Yeah, I got one like that today too,
Okay,
actually.
all right, I just need it back, but I just wanted.
Yeah, no, keep it.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you. So I'm just really confused. There's three names here. I
Okay,
thought
just
Mr.
please go
Ballas
back to the
would be here
microphone.
tonight. Excuse me?
Go back to the microphone, Jenny.
It's okay, don't be sorry.
I just was a little confused about it all, because there's three names. I thought maybe Mr. Ballas would be here tonight, and maybe he could clear up some of this, especially about this attorney.
Well, we're gonna get the other folks back up again and we'll find out who's, we'll get the other folks back up again, we'll find out
Okay,
who's.
all right. I was just very confused, because we couldn't find this attorney. A letter was written to the attorney, we never heard anything back.
Okay.
So, okay, so that was what I wanted to bring up there. And I do have another.
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, here's my copies.
Clarissa.
And for the secretary, I didn't make one for everybody. so-
That's okay, don't worry about it, we'll pass it around.
Mr. Chairman McLaughlin and members of the Riverhead Zoning Board of Appeals. My name is Virginia Lammers, and I attended this evening hearing as a homeowner at 108 Green Street, South Jamesport, New York, and owner of the property 91419, directly south of 112 Green Street. The same piece, okay. I am asking you to study this request for variances very carefully. And before you make your decision, please come out and visually see the property and see our neighborhood. I bought a lovely little 900-plus square foot home, 1951 cottage, in August 1998, on a piece of property 50 wide by 200 feet long. My property is directly south of the same size lot, which has been neglected, unused, and not updated for at least 19 and a half years. I'm referring to the property that
We
the
understand.
Barretts are going for. Okay. I have lived in this wonderful, modest, friendly community as a full-time resident, as most of my immediate neighbors have. I understand at one time this lot, when it was attached to the lot north of it that the house was on, Roberta Kaiser's house is on, was a showcase of beautiful flowers and trees, and everyone in the neighborhood enjoyed it. I was told many prom and wedding pictures were taken here. Even though it is now overgrown, I and my neighbors have enjoyed having the buffer and the privacy. And I didn't add this, but I feel like during some of these heavy storms, that lot has caught a lot of the rain, and my neighbors got a lot of water in their basements over some of the nor'easters, and I was lucky, and my neighbor to the north, Roberta Tice, we both were lucky. We didn't, I got a little, but, and she got none, so, and I really felt that that has been a buffer. I especially, being a member of the Norfolk Audubon Society, have enjoyed all the varieties of birds, among them 4 species of woodpeckers and the many species of songbirds, which have declined 50% since 1950. These birds call this wooded lot their home. Not to mention the squirrels, rabbits, raccoons, opossums, groundhogs, and box turtles, with occasional deer and fox that have had this land to live on for over 2 decades. My reason to buy in this area was this being a low-density cottage community and a quiet neighborhood where seldom you hear a dog bark, and walking distance to the bay. I could retire here. Now, as I see this variances request, I'm very concerned that the value and resale value of my house and property will be diminished. By squeezing in and allowing for a structure to be built at such close quarters, it is going to be a crowding of homes. How much can one neighborhood absorb? I was trying to avoid overcrowding when I moved here. My backyard is next to the lot divided by a chain link fence. It's my chain link fence. And the majority of my property is behind my house. It almost looks like the backyards are attached, the lot to the north and mine, because the chain link fence, you can look right through it. I also have issues with my septic system. The cover center is 15 feet from the property line of the lot that they want to build on. And my well water, which is my outside water source for me, I use it for recreational purposes in the summer. I have a lot of concerns of why this property is too small to build upon with the RB 40 zoning. Why are the rules being relaxed? RB 40 zoning was voted on for very good reasons. Isn't that why we have zoning laws? What is the size of the house that could be built on this 50-foot by 200-foot property under the current Riverhead building codes? Could you tell me that?
No. 25.
Nothing could be built there, but that's why these folks are in front of the variance
Okay, I
board.
just wondered. So nothing could be built at the RB 40. I don't know enough about the codes.
Right. Well, that's
Okay.
why there's a variance board, because,
All right.
again,
So
there are
they
properties
could
all
build-
over this
Right now,
town.
they could build nothing on it.
Right. There's
way
properties all over this town, be the same problem.
Okay,
Go ahead.
any structure that is built on this property should be small. The size of the house is very crucial and should be in keeping with the consistency of our neighborhood and the homes on both sides. And besides, my neighbor Roberta Keiss, the neighbor right to the north of her, they have a smaller cottage than I do. If anything is built, it should be 1,000 square foot or less. It should be built so that the setback is the same as the other houses nearby on Green Street, approximately 30 feet from the road. This way, we can enjoy our decks and backyards like we have been for the last 20 years. This is going to be a huge impact, invasion, and encroachment on our property and our lives. Basically, they are wanting to build on less than 25% required by the building codes on this lot next door to me. They don't even have close to what is the minimum. Many of the building decisions which have been made have slowly eroded the quality of life of our great neighborhood and community. If this board gives these variances to build upon this property, which are against the town codes, the variances should not affect the neighboring properties and community in any way. This should include the placement of the house on the property, the placement of the septic system, the placement of other amenities such as maybe an in-ground pool. This will be a personal hardship on me. Being 3/4 of a century plus 2.5 years old, you can do the math. If this unfortunately goes through, I will need the owners to build the tallest stockade fence allowed, so I will not be able to see or hear the development. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to hear the development because
Ma'am, which is your lot in
I'm,
relation to?
all right, if you want to see me, and I am only 4.8 feet from the property line at one point.
So you're right next to them on the north,
I'm on the south.
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 Roberta's on the north and I'm on the south.
So you share the south border of the applicant's property.
Yes, and see, my house is 4.8 from the, right there.
So they're looking for 12 point, if you can go back to the mic, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I
Just
moved
wanted to know
after
the
I could build this house.
All right.
And you see, this was 1931 with the Carter Estates.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So ma'am, I guess the question I have is,
Yes.
if you have 4.8 feet from your property line, why would you be opposed to the applicant having 12.5 feet from their property line?
Because my home was built in 1951, when we didn't have those codes. This is the new codes now. We should really be adhering to those codes. I mean, why do we have them? And I don't understand this deal where the town has to buy the property. Why do we even have building codes if that's the case?
But
My concern, I'm on the
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh, wait, do that, wait,
You have to come
okay.
back up to the,
Let me, you want, can I,
So the,
Yeah.
I mean, just the obvious thing, looking at this survey here, is that all the properties are the same size.
sure, there's 1951, when they didn't have any of these building codes.
but the folks have a right to build on their property.
Yes, I guess they do, maybe
Yeah.
1 foot long or something, huh? Well, anyway, I need the owners to build the tallest stockade fence I can. I did that right. Okay, this is my final statement, and I'll let you go. Do the right thing for our neighbors and the neighborhood. I emphatically ask you, the Riverhead Zoning Board of Appeals members, to deny this petition for variances to the RB 40 code for the property at 112 Green Street, South Jamesport. Please do the right thing.
Thank you very
Really
much.
look at this seriously. Come down and visit us first.
We did, we were there.
Good.
You were there?
Absolutely.
I would have known, okay. So you saw the situation?
Absolutely.
Twice.
Did you see all the birds?
It's the only vacant lot on the street.
That's right. Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
They've all gone. There's no place for, what about the trees? That's the other thing I didn't count. I would like some of the trees left, the larger trees. I think I
We
can.
don't have
We have not, we don't have that authority.
Where do you go to ask about that? Who do you go to for that? The building department? Okay, I'll find out.
Hi, it's Roberta Kais, I'm back up.
Yes.
My house in 1998 burned on 4th of July because of fireworks that were lit the roof of my house, and my house burned. So my house was totally rebuilt in 1998. I was not allowed to change the footprint. I couldn't go any closer to the setbacks. And if you look at I gave you a copy of the survey of my house. There are some places where I'm 4.5 feet to the property line. If you allow them to come within 15 feet of me, that's less than 20 feet. A fire can catch very quickly, because we're not dealing with brick or concrete buildings, we're dealing with wood.
How far from your property line are you?
4.5 feet.
So again, the question I have is, if you're 4.5 feet and the applicant is asking for 12.5 feet,
We're within 20 feet of a building being able to ignite.
Well,
I mean-
another problem is,
And it happened.
minimum house size by code is 1,200 square feet.
I have no
Minimum.
objection to them building, I really don't.
Okay,
If we can make them go to the back of the yard, back of the building, back of the lot, so that they're away from our buildings.
we
That's
can.
the, I mean, I couldn't build an addition on my house because I was too close to the property line, so I had to go back in order to put on a dining room.
Again, you could have come to the zoning board and appealed that.
I had just had my house burned down.
I understand that,
No,
but I'm just
I
telling you,
definitely was not totally thinking.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Whoever, built your house, they could have said, look, we can go to the zoning board of appeals, and we can,
I just wanted to get back in my house.
I understand.
Okay, so we tried to follow the rules, and we did what we could do without,
But there were
A lot.
options, unfortunately, that you weren't aware of.
I really was not aware, because who knows? I mean, I like my house.
I don't blame you.
Okay.
I just want to add something.
Of
I
course.
don't want to bring this up to Roberta because it's horrible for her. We before I moved in, I happened to be up following a friend, meeting a friend, coming home to my house on Smith Lane, and I saw the fire truck leave, so I followed them down, and they came down, and it was Roberta's house. She was down at the beach watching the fireworks. Meanwhile, some fireworks from the neighbor, they were coming over. And I was nervous because I had just, I had put down payment on the house on the other side of the lot. And it was very frightening because it was very, very close. And those flames in the back of the house there, it looked like the woods was going to, the wooded lot, because it hadn't been touched for years, was going to go on fire. Thank goodness for the fire department it didn't, but those flames were shooting up. I'm sorry, Roberta, to bring it up because it's still horrible for you, I
Thank you.
know. But just keep in mind,
It's
please.
just, the placement of the building on the property is key. And the size of the building is key.
We understand. what
Thank
you're
you.
saying.
So this,
So-
wait a minute.
Yeah.
I just have
So
to,
this house, if it was placed 12 and a half and 12 and a half, would be out of character with the neighborhood because there are a lot of 4.5 off the lot line. Is that correct?
No.
No?
There's only 4 lots that are that 50 by 200.
No, I'm talking about the setbacks off the lot lines on the side. We're talking about 4.5, 4.5.
Ginny and my house are the only ones that are that close. The house that is the north of me is at least 15 feet.
Off the
You have at
property
least
line?
15, yeah,
I think,
yeah.
Well,
I'm looking at some houses, some properties in the neighborhood that are 45 feet
They're
wide.
combined lots.
the average lot was 50 by 200, from what I understand, as Norm Halleck told me this. God bless him. And what happened is some people bought 2, and so they would have 100. Some people maybe bought 1.5 and split it.
I just have a question for the owner representative.
Of course.
We've heard a lot of comments from the neighbors. The one comment that I find to be really valid is the fact that all of the neighborhood homes are one-story homes.
That's not correct. That's not correct.
No, it isn't correct.
Tell me where.
There are several houses in the neighborhood that are two-story. Some are larger than the house proposed. There's one.
They're on larger, on their double
Wait,
lots.
can I just finish? There's one house, one property, one house over, that has 3 houses on the property.
We got one at 115 Green Street, that's a two-family, two-story.
It's a red house.
That's on the corner, and it's on a double lot.
That's
This-
Aunt Ethel's house. That was built many years ago.
C-
No longer belongs to
Okay, you're talking,
And-
when you
and
talk
could I-
about houses in the neighborhood, how far out in the neighborhood do you go now?
Could I
Do you
just-
wanna go down to the beach? to see if there's
On
a
Green
two-story
Street,
house?
on Green Street, how many homes are two-story
I'm
homes?
not, I think there's 2. And I also think one house over, there's 3 houses on the lot. So there are a lot of different
Not a lot
style.
their size.
Now, I also understand in South Jamesport, we have to go, if we receive variance approvals, we would have to go to an architectural
Review board.
review board. And I'm sure these issues will be addressed to see if the architecture's in keeping with the community. And we plan on going there next. So if that is an issue, these people can come and discuss that there. But I also want to address one other thing. The thing with the 2 lots and the merged lots, when I filled out the my wife and myself filled out the application for a variance, there's a question in there, do you own the lot next door? It says it right in the application, and we put that in. And we asked the building inspector, should we include that in the application? And we did. We were also asked, are we going to build on that lot? Because a lot of other people looked to build 2 houses or a carriage house or something back there. And we said, no, we didn't. So, but he said, could you please include that? I don't know if it's merger or whatever it is, but we wanted to show the board that we don't intend on overdeveloping back in that lot. So that was the reason. So,
Okay.
Okay.
and the board has pointed out some valid points that the 2 lots on the side are closer. However, in the new building codes, there are strict fire codes and fire retardants on building materials that didn't exist back 20, 30 years ago. including siding, roof material, and other materials in a house.
Thanks very much.
One question.
Sure.
They brought up some comments about these letters, and this letter from the attorney is quite interesting, the Spiro Ben.
I don't know who he is. He's not the
He-
attorney.
Excuse me, he wrote to 104, 108, and 118 Green Street. And he asked them to take all their personal property off the premises on the triangle lot. But this guy's in Huntington, he's got a Matatuck zip code, he's got a Matatuck telephone number. I'd like to know what that's about, and why did he write to these people?
I don't-
With
I
a
don't-
bogus address?
I don't know, I have no idea, he's not our attorney. He's not the attorney who I'm dealing with for the Ballas's, there's another attorney somewhere. I
Well,
forgot.
somebody hired this guy to write to those three addresses.
I don't know, but there is an issue that was brought up by the building inspector, and it's only one lot that's in question. I think it's the Smith Trust property has encroached on that lot, and in accordance with, I'm not a building inspector, but he said that they're in violation of the work they've done, and that's an issue with the building department, which
But that's on the back triangular
a
property.
back triangular
Right.
property.
Okay.
But I was going to see if I could meet with the Smith family and work something out. Either they can go for a building permit or an easement or something. I would be willing to do that.
Okay,
I'm not here to be a bad neighbor.
All right.
okay. Thank you.
What do you want to do?
Okay. All right, so I make a motion for a reserved decision for the next meeting. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Frank?
Aye.
Otto?
Aye.
Aye.
And I say aye. So we'll have a reserved decision for you folks in the next meeting. 2 weeks, yes. Actually,
Thank
it'll
you
be-
for coming out.
No, don't go by.
For listening to all our,
Oh, absolutely.
I'm an animal lover, can you tell? It's been wonderful.
No,
No, you if you don't mind, I can make a copy.
No, that's
he
fine.
doesn't count for
I thought you'd like to see what's that. Yeah, I know. And that piece in triangle is for, I didn't know it.
Isn't it, that's like a
Years
bonus
ago.
for
We've known it probably with your daughter, and at one point was sort of did old, right in the spirit. It was right down around the time she had the fires. She wrote this to you about.
No, it says 2017.
Yeah, it would say
August.
retired on the registry. And then we went up to 225, I'm retired, where are you? You know, I can't afford.
Yeah, I hear you.
Oops, wait a minute. I got the one.
Summer being
I gotta
that
take it
close,
back.
I don't know, is that a problem?
That's health department, that's not
Oh,
us
so
at all.
then how do
They
you-
look into that. They'll
They look into that, and my
very
water, I
hard.
have just, I use it in the summer, my well water.
You're on town water.
Hold
I
on.
have town too, but I use it for well water.
I make a motion to accept the minutes of the last meeting.
So moved.
All in favor?
Second, aye.
I make a motion, meeting be closed. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved, second.
I didn't know you were in the middle.
That's all right. You're-